Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Y'all still up? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Y'all up? Oh, man. That's so funny. Like, y'all still up. Some of y'all on the West Coast, y'all, it's what? 11? So y'all should be up. It's 1 o'clock over here. If you're on the West Coast, it's what? It's 10. What are y'all, 3 hours? 3 hours ahead on the West Coast? Y'all 3 hours behind? So if it's 1 o'clock here, that would make it what? Yeah, it would make it 10 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast. Y'all still out. Y'all got something else. Y'all out there doing. It's Saturday night though. You should be out. Some of y'all probably coming in from the club. I'm sipping on my coconut right now. Some of y'all probably coming in from the club, coming in from drinking all night. Whatever you did, I ain't judging you. What I'm saying is, if you up, it's probably because you probably just got in the house. Usually people up around this time. If people in the house around this time, they're asleep. And if people are up around this time on a Saturday night, it's because they just got in the house. Huh? I ain't looking to do nothing major here tonight. Just build. What's going on with y'all though, family? Y'all good? Y'all good? Y'all want the Enlightened Messenger to drop some divine light on y'all? Because that's what I do. Y'all want the Enlightened Messenger to drop divine light on y'all? Because I do that. I do bring the divine light. But I even gave this message a title tonight. I gave this one a title tonight, even though it's so late. I don't normally start this late. I usually start around 12 Eastern time, midnight. I usually hit the airwaves around midnight Eastern time. But because I find myself having a lot of thoughts running wild in my head, I thought I'd come to you, the people, and basically give you something out of those thoughts that I was coming to a conclusion to. And this download or this message is specifically for reminding you that we must build. This is just a reminder that we must build. We must listen. We have coming into, and let me start off properly. For those of you who coming into the room for the first time, coming into the download for the first time, peace and power to all you divine light warriors out there. I am the Enlightened Messenger, your ascended master. Now, one would think, wow, you are so caught up in yourself to call yourself a master or an ascended master. Well, let me say this to you, for those of you who may be having that debilitation of yours, because it's not mine, it's yours. You the one got a problem with it, not me. It's your debilitation. You're hung up on it, not me. So let me address that hang up for those of you who may take a slight issue with me regarding to myself as an ascended master. Number one, to be an ascended anything, it means you have to have left a lower region of whatever it may be. To ascend into the skies, you have left the ground. To ascend into higher consciousness, you have left the what? The lower self, the lower conscious self, the things that you are attached to physically, your attachments. I explained this in yesterday's download about what was the title? I said you are disease. You have a diseased mind. Are you disease free? Is the title of yesterday's download. Are you disease free? Because you may be disease free in your blood. You may went to the doctor and got a blood type, blood work done, but your mind is sick. Your mind is sick. And the goal here is to make sure that your mind is not sick. So we did that download yesterday. Go back and watch that. But to be an ascended anything, you have to have left and went higher or elevated in a position. Okay? Well, I've elevated myself to the position of the higher knowledge of self. The higher knowledge of self. Hence the reason why my name is Enlightened, which means to be all-knowing. Enlightened means to come into knowledge. Well, I study thyself. So I've come into a knowledge of myself. So you have me as enlightened, and I'm a messenger. I'm a communicator. This is what I do by trade. I've been doing this for the last 5 and 6 years, speaking across the nation. I'm a messenger. I'm a communicator. So enlightened messenger makes perfect sense. Now, to be an ascended master means you have to have mastered something. Master what? I've mastered the highest knowledge of myself. Ascended means to elevate in position. Well, I've mastered, just like you go to school and get a master's degree in a certain field of study. I have a master's knowledge or degree, so to say, in the knowledge and study of myself, which makes me ascended. If I have to break it down to you like that for you to get and understand that when I call myself a master, it's not to be in my ego. So what? Even if I am. It's not to be in my ego, but so what if I am? It's mine. It's not your. If you have a problem with it, it's your hang up. It's your hindrance. It's your debilitation. And so I'm talking about right now, us building. The title of today's message is Let Us Build. And we must build right now. Why is this message important today for you to hear? For those of you who are up right now. Because even the Bible said that a thief, even the Bible said that Christ will return like a thief in the night. It means that those who are awake will see Christ coming. And I'm not talking about Jesus, okay, in the religious way, like you hear in your church. I'm talking about the messenger, because Christ is what? The message. I've already explained that. Don't want to do it again. Okay? But for those who are up watching, not in the literal sense, watching me, listening to me, a messenger, but those who keep their eye on the sparrow, those are going to be the ones to get picked up and saved and brought into higher consciousness. That's why this message is literal. At the same time, it's not literal. It's not literal, but it is literal. Because my message is bringing you to a higher self, a higher knowledge of self. Number one. And number two, it's not literal because it's for those who are up, not those who are awake or woke in consciousness. That's why it's not literal, because it doesn't take my messages for those who are awake in consciousness. Now, let's move forward. Let us build. Let us build. Hey, Michael Jones, I see you. Let us build. And we must build. What must we build? Well, we have come back into the age of consciousness, the Aquarius age. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of information. We are in the age of enlightenment. Truly, we are in the age of enlightenment, but not everyone will be enlightened. And let me say this: I'm not the only one who could be an enlightened messenger or an ascended master. The name is not reserved for me. Anyone could be an enlightened messenger. Anyone could be an ascended master. It's not reserved for only me. Okay? Just like many people can be a doctor. Many people can be a scientist. Many people can be an enlightened messenger and ascended master. Now, let us build, and we must build. Usually I have my tea with me at night. When I do these downloads, I have my tea. But tonight, I opted for a coconut. So I'm drinking straight from my raw coconut, my coconut water. And it is so delicious. So delicious. But we must build. Who must build? Who is we? Who is the we I'm talking about? The we, those of us who are woke in consciousness, those of us who are keeping our eyes on the sparrow, those of us who are awake and watching for the return of not Jesus, but the Christ. The Christ is what? the message. Not Jesus. We don't wait on the return of Jesus. We wait on the return of the Christ. The Christ is the message. And who and how do you know when you will hear the message? You're hearing it right now. You're hearing the message right now, as you will from other enlightened messengers. You will hear the message of the Christ. And we must start to build, because we're living in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of information. We are living in the age of Aquarius right now, to the point where you need to take advantage of this moment and start to come into a knowledge of self, because the age of Aquarius will pass, and then we will be into the age of Pisces, which is action. And those of us who did not get the information will not know how to take action in the age of Pisces. When the age of Pisces comes circling around, those of us who did not wake up in the age of Aquarius, which is right now, the information age, those of us who do not get this download right now as the messenger is bringing it to you, then you will be left in the age of Pisces when the age of Pisces come around, and that is the age of action. You will not know how to take action. You will be stuck in your debilitation. You will be stuck in your hindrances. You will be stuck in your hangups, and you will not know how to move while everybody is moving and have already ascended into what? Higher consciousness. A lot of people in this age right now are ascending. This is the age for you to start to begin to ascend, because in the age of Pisces, no more ascending. The information will be locked up. The information will be locked up, seized up. You understand? The information will be seized up. You will not be able to get it anymore, because it's right now. It's free. You got all the social media sites right now. You got the internet. You got Google. You got YouTube. You got all these social media outlets freely giving you the information. Well, no longer will the information be free like this. Remember, you had to almost pay to get this information before Google and the internet. Remember, you had to pay to get this kind of information. You had to pay. Well, guess what? No more will you be able to afford to get this information, because when you used to have to pay for this information, number one, well, guess what? Internet, Facebook, social media came out, Google came out, and you were able to research it off for free. Well, they're going to seize the information now. They're going to seize the information, lock it up to where you will not be able to receive it for free anymore. And that will be the time when the age of Pisces will come around. And the age of Pisces is the age of action. And therefore, because you did not take advantage of the information age of Aquarius, receive this download, receive this message, then guess what? When the age of action comes, you will not know how to move. Why? Because the information will be locked, teaching you, showing you how to move. They will seize up the way that we can bring this message through this download right now, how I'm doing it through Facebook. It will cost me to be able to bring you this message. It will cost me to be able to bring you this message through Facebook in the future. In the age of Pisces, I would not be able to bring this message for free. I would not be able to do what I'm doing right now for free. You understanding me? They will seize up the information. I will have to pay to bring it to you. You have to pay to search the internet. Like you had to pay to use a payphone, you have to pay to use the internet. And I'm not talking about like you paying for internet service at your house. No, you will have to pay directly through your phone. Just to log on to Google. Just to log on to Facebook. You would put in money. Like you had to do a telephone when you were picking up the telephone and put 25 cents in or 50 cents to make a phone call, or $1. You would be paying just like your phone right now. You're paying to use your phone. I'm paying to use this phone to even bring you this download. Well, you would be paying to use the phone, and you would be paying to surf and get on the internet to bring a message like this. No longer will it be available. A lot of you will be asleep. A lot of you are sleeping right now. A lot of you are asleep. This is the age of Aquarius, the information age. And you will not be able to get this information for free in the age of Pisces, action. So right now, I titled this message, Let Us Build, because we are awoke right now. We are awake right now. This is the age of consciousness. There are those some of us who are receiving the information are ascending. We are ascending Those of us who are receiving the information are ascending. This is why I said let us build. And to build, you have to get rid of your debilitations. You have to get rid of your hangups. And you have to get rid of your hindrances. What do you mean, Enlightened? Tell us, explain, what do you mean? I mean, you have to get rid of your old doctrines and your old philosophies and your old theological beliefs, your old religious beliefs. You have to let them go in order to receive this download. See, you're hung up on the old doctrines, and old information do not apply in the update world. Old information do not apply in the update world. Quote that. Old information do not apply in the update world. Constantly, we are updating. Everything is being upgraded. Everything is being updated every single day. Every day your Facebook has a new update. They're telling you to update your Facebook app. Your apps are constantly updating every day, and they're telling you to update this app, update that app. You optimize this app, optimize that app, optimize your phone. Why? Because it's out of date. The information you received yesteryear is out of date, and you need to update. You need to upgrade. And the time right now to upgrade is now. This is the time to upgrade. Right now, in the age of information, you ought to be receiving. Stop using your judgments. Stop using old judgments. Stop using old hindrances and hangups and judgments to seize you and lock you from growing. You are seized. You are incapable of growth. You are incapable of ascending because you are seized and locked into bindings of old ways of thinking, down of out of date thinking. You are living in an out of date mind. Your mind is out of date because you keep thinking the same way, and the information is constantly being updated. Do you think we would be where we are today if we still practice the information of 1,000 years ago? Do you think we would be where we are if we were still practicing the information from, let's say, what, 1800s, the 18th century, the 1st century, the 5th century, the 6th century? Do you think we would be where we are if we were still practicing the information of the 6th century? Of the 8th century, the 9th century? Do you think we would be where we are today? No. Why? Because we update every year, every day, every second, every minute. It's constantly updating. Everything is updating. Growth is happening all around you. And you, my friend, need to start taking in the information so you can grow, or you will get left in the age of action. The age of Pisces, you will get left in the age of action. You will not know how to act because the information you're used to going to, the outlets you're used to going to receive your information will no longer be available for free like it is right now. It will not be free. You will not be able to receive this information. And I'm telling you, the time to update yourself in information is right now. So we must build. Why? Because this is the age of being awoke or awake. And so you say, what must we build then? We must build, and we are, I would say more so me and a few others, but let me speak generally. We must go back, and I'm not talking about go back to the past. I'm not talking about go back to the past, but we must go back to nature. Nature is the key and the answer to the way of life. If you live within the laws of nature and live within the laws of the universal law, natural law, sovereign law, if you live in these laws, then you will start to see what? The universe, God, whoever, play everything out in your favor. Because I operate through the laws of the universe and through the laws of nature and through the laws of my sovereignty. I am always winning. I am always winning. I'm always winning. The goal is not to be a winner. That's not my aim. My aim isn't to be a winner. But let me tell you this. I'm a winner because I don't have to try to push myself to achieve anything like a lot of you do. A lot of you push yourselves to try and achieve things. I don't have to do that anymore. That's called being caught up in your hangups. These are hindrances. Pushing yourself to achieve things. When no longer I stopped pushing myself. And I just started to live within the laws of universal laws and natural laws. And I became a winner because I am in the flow. I am in the natural flow of life. When you get in the natural flow of life, you become a winner. You become a winner because you are operating within the natural flow of life. I am operating in the natural flow of life now, loving it. Loving the way life is giving everything to me. Everything is being pulled into me. Why? Because I am part of I am part of nature. So gravity is a part of my makeup. Gravity is a part of my makeup. Energy is a part of who I am because that's what nature is. Nature is energy. Everything about nature is energy. And so energy has a magnetic field to it we call gravity. So everything is being pulled into my field, my energy field. Because I operate within the laws of nature, and the laws of nature is all energy, operates with energy, operates inside of energy fields, and things are being constantly pulled into nature to better, or the earth realm, the earth plane, to better the earth plane, to do what? To sustain us, our life, our way of living. The earth never lacks of feeding us. The earth never lacks of giving us what we need. The earth never lacks of giving us shelter. The earth never lacks of its resources. You hear all these theories about there's a shortage of water, there's a shortage of this, there's a shortage of that. How in the hell is there a shortage of water when you live on a planet full of water? And you can drink, and all you got to do to drink that water is filter that water and filter that water. And I'm not talking about go, like at a water plant. All water can be alkaline. All water can be alkalized or alkaline. All water. Where do you think all the water is coming from that you're drinking? We have natural springs, we have rivers, we have creeks, we have oceans. And all this water is for life. Why? Because in the water, it is life. Water is life. How can something that is life not give us life? How can something that is life not be used for life? Huh? That's not nature. That's not the earth realm. That's not nature. That's not nature. That's a backwards mindset thinking that they're feeding you and you're caught up in that way of belief. It's called your hang up and your hindrances. It's called a debilitation. It's called a debilitation. Are you understanding? How is there a shortage of water when we live on a planet damn near 90% water? You understand? How is there a shortage of life on the planet that is life? How is there a shortage of life when the planet is life itself and is always rebirthing and always this is why you got 4 seasons. So you can kill off and keep and renew. So that you can kill off and renew. That's why there'll never be a shortage of anything. Because the world operates in seasons. Even in the tropics, there's seasons. Even in the tropics, there's seasons. In the rainforest, there's seasons. Everything has a season. This is the purpose for seasons. This is why even the Bible said that all things only last but for a season. All things last only for a season. Everything has seasons. And then guess what? One thing ends, another one begins. One thing ends, another one begins. We live in the realm of seasons. There is never a shortage of anything. There's always abundance. The world in the earth plane is an abundance, is a place of abundance, pure abundance. And you're being taught backwards that the earth isn't. You're being taught that there's a shortage of this and a shortage of that. What is there a shortage of? No, it's all fear driven. It's all fear mongering. It's all fear based. It's all to get you afraid and to keep you from what? To keep control. It ain't even about keeping you using limited amount of water. It's not about keeping you from using limited amount of water. It's a mind game. It's to get you. It's to see if they can control you, which they are. control your mind, make you believe. And this is why I said you are caught up in your debilitations and hung up in your and you're hung up and you got hindrances that stops you from growing. And in order to build, you must get rid of what? Your old out of date thinking. You got to get rid of your out of date thinking. It's time to update your thinking. It's time to update your thinking. You must get rid of your out of date thinking. If we're going to build, we're in the age of Aquarius, and right now is the information age. You need to start receiving it for free and let us build. Let us build what? Enlightened? Talk to me. Let us build what? Let us build what? We must go back to nature, as I explained. Number one, mainly and more importantly, not only must we go back to nature, but this coincides with what? That we must go back to live within nature. We must go back to nature mentally. This is a mental. We must go back to nature through the mind, mentally, getting connected through the mind to nature. We must go back to nature, getting connected to nature through the mind. And then we must go back to live within nature. This is taking your physical vessel and going back and living amongst nature itself. With nature, being one with nature. You must become one with nature. This is why I got my tent. So I can start grounding to the earth. Becoming one, staying vibrating at a high velocity. Because every time I sleep in my tent, I am feeling the earth bed vibrate my energy up, like charging your phone. When you plug your phone into your charger, you see that battery go up 10%, 20%, 30%. That's the same thing that happens when I sleep in my tent. And I'm laying so close to the earth bed, understanding that the earth has energies in it. When I lay down on the earth bed, it is vibrating. The earth is pulsating. It's life. It's like you breathing. The earth is breathing like you breathe. And so because the earth is breathing, I am laying on the earth bed and I am receiving the vibrations of the earth, the life that earth, that the moment of nature, Mother Nature is giving me. I am receiving life from life itself. And so I am being charged up. I feel my body, my whole body. I feel my whole body charged when I lay on the earth bed. It's literally, you literally feel electric. You literally feel electric go through your body. Literally. I sleep on them in my tent and I literally feel my body charging, like vibrating, charging electrically. Serious stuff. I'm not making this up. And this is how we come into our higher consciousness. This is how we come into our higher self. So I live within nature. I went back to living within nature, getting so close to the earth bed that every time I walk on the earth bed barefooted or I sleep on the earth bed, I am feeling the vibrations go through me, and it's raising my level of awareness and self and consciousness. So we must go back to nature, and we must go back to nature mentally, and we must go back to living within nature. This is a physical act. Now remember, the title of this message is Let Us Build. Now when you look at tribes of yesteryear, if you look at the tribes of the African tribes and the tribes in in South America, tribes over in South America, there's a lot of tribes is still existing in South America. And there's still a lot of tribes existing in South America. Even in Central America, there are still a lot of tribes. Contacted and uncontacted tribes. Contacted and uncontacted tribes. There are still a lot of tribes existing. Now, if you go look at the way tribes live, a lot of you remember, and you went to see the movie Black Panther. Remember, you went to see the movie Black Panther. And when it was time for T'Challa to battle for the king to be called Black Panther, they lived in a nation called Wakanda. But in that nation, they had what? Tribes. They had tribes. And so they were saying, this tribe and that tribe wasn't going to challenge for the throne. You had tribes. We must go back to a village tribal mindset where even in the nation, you had tribes that still came together with a village mindset. This is village mindset, not community. The word community became so widespread and became so broad that it lost true meaning. So it must not be a community. We must go back to a village way of life. We must go back to living like in a village mindset. We must go back to the village mindset, where even in a nation, there was still respect and boundaries. There was still room for everyone. There was still room, even in a nation, there was still room for everyone to come together and have an agreement and a disagreement and have a dialogue and a conversation. And everybody got heard. Everybody had their say. Everybody was heard. Even in a nation, you got tribes. And in those tribes, they came together as a village. And everybody was what? Wakanda mindset. It didn't matter what tribe they were from. Everybody was Wakanda mindset. We must be nature mindset, building our tribes again. But our mindset must be that of nature. We must be nature mindset. Like Wakanda, every tribe was Wakanda mindset. They lived within Wakanda. Everything was Wakanda. But they had their own tribes within Wakanda. But Wakanda was the nation. Wakanda was their way of life. Nature is our way of life. Nature is our nation. Nature is our nation. And we must go back to the way it was when it was villages, and still is, where there were tribes and villages. Still in Africa, there are villages. Still, even right now to this day in Africa, they got villages. People where people are, they don't see themselves as neighbors. They don't see themselves as someone living to themselves, and I live to myself over here like we do in the Western world. But in the village mindset, everybody knows everybody. But more important, it wasn't more about everybody knowing everybody, but everybody was family, and that was literal. Everybody was family, and that was literal. It was a village is an extended family, a large extended family. It doesn't mean you share the same blood. It doesn't mean you share the same bloodline. But somehow, some way, somewhere, everybody is connected through blood. Through blood in the village. It doesn't mean that everybody in the village is blood related. But you're connected through blood. You're connected by blood. You're connected through blood. I know that sounds like what is that word? I know that sounds redundant in a way. Like, how can that be? How can it be? How can it be and not be? How can it not be but it be? Huh? Easily. Everybody that comes to the village will not be, everybody that comes to the village to live in the village will not be family. Because you live so close knit with each other in the village, you let's say, for the lack of a better word, let's use today's terminology, you start dating and mating each other. Because you live in a tight-knit village. Everybody is messing around with everybody. Everybody is dating the people of the village. And somehow you become related through blood. Whether it be through your children that get connected to the other people's children by blood, but you do become connected by blood. You will become connected by blood. If you're not connected by blood when you start out as a village, you will be connected by blood. Whether it be your children and their children, blood will come into the picture. And so it's a family now, an extended large family. And we must go back to a village way. We must go back to the village mindset. We must go back to the way it was when we were in villages, living amongst tribes, building tribes in a nation. Because we are living in the age of Aquarius right now, which is the age of information. But the age of Pisces is coming upon us real quick. And that's the age of action. And those who do not receive the information will not know how to act, because the information will be seized and sold up. The information will be locked up. You will have to pay to search Google. You have to pay to go on YouTube. You have to pay to come on Facebook. You have to pay to look things up that you used to looking up for free. You're going to have to pay for that. It's gonna have to cost you. And not only will you have to pay, let's even go deeper and further with it. You won't even have let's let's back that up a little bit. Forget you having to pay. How about this? You don't have it at all. How about you don't even have access to it at all? That is only reserved for the elite. That the information is only reserved for the elite. How about you have no access to it at all? How about that? How about they don't even make it accessible anymore? Huh? Because that's coming. That's coming. The information age will be gone and leaving upon us. This is why a lot of people are waking up, because we are in the age of information. We are in the age of Aquarius. We are in the age of information. So people are waking up. But we will move out of the age of Aquarius into the age of Pisces, which is action. What will you do when the age of Pisces happens? You're going to see a lot of people going back to what I'm talking about because they woke up in this age. They were ascending. People were waking up and ascending in this age. And they were going to their higher selves, returning back to nature, eating the food of nature, sunlight food, eating the food of nature. Like right now, I'm having a coconut. And I told you this before. I don't drink water from out of the faucet. Because it's fluoride filled. I don't drink water out of bottled water because not all bottled water is plastic free, BPH free. Even if it is, it's still harmful chemicals in it. Unless it's made from corn. But I drink my water, and my water comes from my fruit. I get my water straight from the coconut, from my honeydew melon. I get my water from my watermelon. I get my water from my cantaloupes. My body is consuming water by that which is life. My body consumes water by that which has life. Why would I go against that? Why would I go backwards and drink water coming out of a tap faucet? Why? That's living backwards. Why am I going to go drink water that is coming out of a tap faucet? When nature has my water for me. When I can reach the freshwater beds and get my water from the fresh well, I can do that. Or I could just wait and get my water from my fruit. I could do one or two things. I could go to the earth and get my water straight to the earth and not out of a tap faucet. Okay? Or I can go to my fruit and get my water. I don't drink bottled water no more. I don't drink out the tap faucet no more. Haven't drunk water like that in a month. Haven't drunk water like that in a month. I only drink my water from my fruit. And guess what? Am I dehydrated to you? Do I look sick to you? Do I sound sick to you? Do I sound dehydrated to you? No, the hell I don't. Because I don't drink because I'm smart. I've woken up. I'm enlightened. I know better. I know what to do now. You understand? I don't drink water from the bottles. I don't drink water from the tap. I don't drink water like y'all drink water anymore. My fruit is life. Nature is life. We must go back to nature and receive life. So why in the hell would you believe when they tell you that there's a shortage of water? When water, 90% of the earth is made up of water. And why would I believe that there's a shortage of water when the earth is life? Earth is life. The earth is life. Why would I believe that there's a shortage of life on a planet that is life? That's stupid. That's asinine. That's backwards. What the hell are y'all doing today? What the hell are y'all doing? Y'all need to wake up. Please, wake up. That's so asinine and backwards. That I'm going to believe somebody telling me, I'm going to believe man telling me that a planet that is full of life, that is life, that there's no more life on it. But then if there's no more life on the damn planet, why aren't we dead? Why ain't everybody dead if there's no more life on the planet? If there's no more resources for life sustainability on the planet, why ain't everybody dead right now then? No, you just believe every damn thing they tell you to believe. That's the problem. You just believe everything they tell you to believe. That's the problem. And you don't know how to have your own mind. It's time for you to wake up and have your own mind. Why ain't you did that yet? So I drink my water just like now. I have a coconut. Nice sweet coconut. With sweet coconut water in it. And it's so good. And I get my water every day. Now, moving back into the message. I know I kind of sidetracked, even though that's still a part of the message. I kind of went on a tangent. But we must wake up and we must build. It's time to build now. Let us build. This is the download. Let us build. We must build. We must build what? We must go back right now. Those who are of us who are awake are getting the messages, and we are returning back to our higher self through nature. It can only be done through nature. You can't do this nowhere else. You can't do this no way else. You can't do it any other way. You may try. You can't do it through their systems. Their systems go against nature. Their systems go against your sovereignty. You can't do it through these ways. Their systems go against your sovereignty. Their system goes against nature. Hence the reason they tell you there's a shortage of things. Why? Because they're going against it. They're going against nature. Their agenda is to go against nature. So they're going to tell you there's a shortage of life on a planet that is life, filled with life. My resources that sustains my life comes from a planet that is all life. I'm to believe you that there's no more life on a planet called life? On a planet that is life, I'm to believe you? No, I'm not. I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to believe you. And I refuse to believe you. I don't care how much degree you think you got, how many degrees you got. I don't care how much college education you think you got. I use my 2 eyes in my I use my 3 eyes. My bad. I use my 3 eyes in my common sense. I use my 3 eyes, my common sense, and I look around me and see nature everywhere. And I say, yo, why do I need to believe you? You know, I live on a planet that has nothing but life on it. Do I got to believe there's a shortage of something? No, I'm not believe you. No way. We must build. We must build. It's time. I'm to believe you. So you must give up your old ways. You must give up your old thinking. You must give up your old indoctrinations, your old out of date thinking. Your thinking is out of date. And if we stay living in the way, if we stay living the way they lived in the 1st century, 3rd century, 4th century, 5th century, do you think we would be where we are today? No, we would not be. If we were living old, out of date information. The information is out of date. Everything about your phone is always updating, telling you to update. You must do this with your mind. You must update. You must update to ascend yourself to a higher level of consciousness and knowledge. Because we are in the age of Aquarius, the age of information. We are in the age of information. In the age, and in this age, this is the free time, free. This is a time where you get to get the messages for free. Because in the age of Pisces, it's going to be about action, and the information will no longer be free, let alone accessible to you. Let alone accessible to you. You may not even, let alone, you're going to have to pay for it. But how about you may not even get access to it? You know how you get your information? You Google everything. You YouTube everything. You go to Facebook. You get some of your information from all these social media outlets. Television, radio, all these media outlets. You're getting your information. Well, in the age of Pisces, once the age of information, the age of Aquarius is over, the age of Pisces will descend upon us, and the information will no longer be accessible to us, because it's the age of action now. And now you got to do something with what you received in the age of information. And you're only going to be able to go as far as you've allowed yourself to grow in this age, come the age of Pisces. Let me say that slow. Let me say that again, and let me say it slow. You're only going to be able to go as far through the information that you gain in this age, come time, the age of Pisces. So if you do not open your mind up and allow information to come in so you can receive knowledge and higher and higher and higher and higher knowledge of self and knowledge of who you truly are, if you do not open your mind to allow yourself to receive on a constant basis, on a daily basis, if you do not allow your mind to open so you can constantly receive, then you're setting limitations on yourself come the age of action, and you're only going to be able to go as far as the ceiling you put on yourself right now today. You're only going to be able to go as far in the age of action of the ceiling that you put on yourself today. If you cap yourself off at a certain level, come the age of action, you're going to, that's the level you're going to go to. You're not going to be able to break through that ceiling. You're not going to be able to get over that stumbling block. You're not going to be able to ascend. And not only ascend, but transcend. So you want to ascend and transcend. You don't only want to ascend to a higher level of consciousness and knowledge of self, but you want to transcend. You want to become you want to you want to you want to become the image of God, or you want to be the image of God. Because the becoming, I talked about that last night. You don't want to become, you want to be. So you want to be. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. But a lot of you have been robbed of the knowledge of self. You've been robbed of the image of God from yourself because they've lowered your vibration through the food. Food raises your vibration. As I spoke about sleeping on the earth bed. When I sleep in my tent, I sleep close to the earth bed. I'm sleeping on the earth floor. And the earth is pulsating. The earth is life. The earth is breathing. So when I'm sleeping on a living body, a living vessel, the vibrations that is being, because those vibrations is pulsating at a rapid speed, faster than I can even think, then what do you think it's doing? Imagine plugging your phone up to a charger that would, imagine if you imagine you can plug your phone up to a charger. You have 0% on your battery. Let's say you have 1% left on your battery. Imagine if you can plug your phone up and instantly it goes to 100. Instantly it goes to 100%. You know, that's the equivalent of laying on the earth bed, getting back into nature, walking barefooted on the earth, walking barefooted and sleeping on the earth floor. Do you understand that that's exactly what's happening to you? That when you lay yourself down on the earth floor, it immediately, the velocity of the vibration from the earth is pulsating at a rapid speed. It immediately charges you up. It immediately charges you up. And you are raised at a high level, very fast, very intensely, but very carefully, where it's not putting your circadian rhythm out of whack. You are being charged very carefully. The earth knows everything about what it's doing. It's patient and loving and kind. And so it's not knocking you out of your circadian rhythm. You know, like when you get on an airplane and you fly to a different country, you get jet lag, it knocked you off your circadian rhythm. You've been knocked out of your circadian rhythm. Why? Because you've been living in the rhythm of time that was East Coast time. And you go travel to another country or another part of the world, or another part of the country or the world, and your circadian rhythm is all backwards. It's all messed up now because you set your time back. And you don't want your circadian rhythm to be all out of whack. You want to stay in a constant flow. This is why the earth is careful. The earth is loving. The earth is kind. It knows better than we do. And so it doesn't knock you out of circadian rhythm. It only intunes you with the flow of nature. It tunes you into the flow of nature, the natural flow. It tunes you into the natural flow of life. It tunes you up like a car being tuned up. It tunes you up to the natural flow. Even though it's pulsating at a rapid speed, even though it's vibrating at a speed so fast that it can literally, if you was to see it, it would make you dizzy, make you sick in the stomach. Like being on a merry-go-round going really, 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 really fast. You understand? If you could see how the earth is pulsating at such a speed, it would make you so sick, like if you was on a merry-go-round. But the earth is loving, the earth is kind, the earth is gentle. It knows what it's doing better than us. So when you lay close to the earth bed, the earth doesn't knock you out of circadian. It doesn't knock you out of your circadian rhythm. It tunes you into the natural flow though. How can something going so fast match the speed of something that is vibrating very slow? You are vibrating very slow. But the earth matches your speed even though it's going fast, but it's so careful and takes care of you to raise you up. It doesn't bring you up so fast. It makes you sick. It raises you up gently, kindly, nicely, lovingly. And you come into a knowledge of higher self. That's such a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful feeling. That's such a beautiful knowledge to know that this is what nature is doing for us. That's why I don't believe, man, when they tell me there's a shortage of this and that. There's a shortage of water. Huh? What the hell are you talking about, dude? I live on a planet that is all life. Why am I going to believe? It's funny to me. Why am I going to believe that there's a shortage of life on a planet that is life? So we must build. It is time for us to build. It is time for us to build. And how shall we build? How must we build? Well, as I explained, you saw the movie Black Panther. Lived in a nation called Wakanda. The nation was Wakanda. But they had tribes inside the nation, which made them a village. It didn't make them a community. It made them a village. Why? Because they all were in on Wakanda. They were all Wakanda mindset. It was Wakanda to the day they died. It was Wakanda. Everything was Wakanda with them. Protect the way of life. In the village, you protect the way of life in the village. In the village, you protect the way of life. So because you have these different tribes and villages, there's different tribes in these villages. Just like Black Panther, there were different tribes inside the village. They were different. They lived in a village. They lived as a village with many tribes. But the nation was Wakanda. They lived in a nation. In that nation, they had multiple tribes living as a village, close-knit, tight with each other. And they will all give up their lives for Wakanda. Me and you, we have to go back and I say, let us build. This is the title. Let us build. We must go back and build villages out of our family, out of us, out of our homes, out of our situations, right here, right now, in the age of Aquarius, the age of information. We must go back to building and become a village mindset people. Let us build villages. Let us build villages. Let us go back to being tight-knit families in villages where we come and we live amongst each other. But we live in tune with nature. If you look at the villages, especially just go look at the villages of Africa and look at the Indian tribes. All the Indian tribes. You understand? Go back and look at all the Indian tribes and how they live with nature and love nature. Nature gave them everything they needed. Everything they was provided. Everything was provided to them through nature because they respected and lived within. See, they went back to nature, that's mentally, and they lived within nature. They were laying in teepees, laying on the earth floor. They were living in teepees. See, you've been taken away from your teepee and your tent. You've been taken away from a village. See, in Africa, they live in villages, and guess what those village homes are made of? Mud homes, mud houses. They live in mud houses. They live in mud houses, which is what? Which is to stay grounded. Even in the mud house, you are grounded. Why? Because the mud comes from the ground and it's still connected to the ground. So living in the mud home, you are still receiving the vibration and earth energy in the mud house. The people in Africa are very beautiful, smart people. The Indian tribes, they were living in teepees and they were receiving earth energy, laying on the earth floor. The people in the villages in Africa, they live in mud homes. They build their homes out of mud. And their homes are still, because it's made out of mud, it is still connected to the mud that it stands on. The home is still connected to the mud that it stands on, the soil, the earth bed. So even living in their homes, they are still connected to nature. Living in their mud houses, they are still connected to nature. They're still connected to the earth energies. But you've been taught to buy a brick house, a brick and mortar house, not understanding that concrete is not a conductor of energy. Huh? See, you've been taught to live in a brick and mortar house. And you must understand that concrete is not a conductor of energy, but mud is. Mud is a conductor of energy because a mud home is what? Connected to the mud floor. A mud home is connected to the mud floor. A mud foundation. And so the energy isn't stuck just in the mud bed, in the floor, but it's also coming through the home because the home is made of mud. You understand? There is no disconnection from the mud house to the mud floor. There's no disconnection from the mud house to the earth floor. There is no disconnection. But there is a disconnection with you in your brick and mortar houses because concrete is not a conductor of energy. And so you live, and because you live in the mud home, because you live in a brick house, there is no energy flowing through your house. Energy is being blocked from you. Energy is being blocked from your house. Are you understanding? Your house is made of brick and mortar, rock, concrete. You understand? And concrete is not a conductive energy. Now watch this. Concrete is made up of rocks. Concrete is nothing more than rocks. So you would say, well, if concrete is rocks and the earth is made of rocks, then how is it not connected? Let me tell you how. Because there's chemical compounds they mix chemical compounds in the mortar. They mix chemical compound in the mortar. I used to lay tile a while back. And we mix chemical, and to make tile, to make grout, we had to mix the chemical compound in that grout. It's basically the same thing as, that was mortar. To make that grout, that's the same thing as mortar. And to make that mortar, I had to mix a chemical compound in that. It stops the electricity of even the concrete. Because even the concrete is rocks, and the concrete would be connected to the earth foundation. The concrete would be connected to the earth foundation if it not have chemical compound and mortar. If it not have mortar, which has chemical compound, then it would stop the electricity. So now that your brick and mortar homes, now that your brick home has mortar in it, it has chemical compounds in it, it stops the electricity from flowing through your concrete home. If your home was just concrete, you would be okay. But because it's concrete and mortar, you're not okay. You're not getting earth energy. And so you must go back to the earth energy. You must go back and we must build. And see, we can do this. We can build. We can live in a nation and and have a village mindset. We can. See, nature shows us the way. I'm gonna share with you and show you where. I'm gonna share with you where nature shows us the way. That we can live in a nation with each other as a village people in perfect harmony and in sync with each other. Now let me show you where you will find this at. Go to the beach, and I like to do it at night because you see all the elements. Go to the beach at night, and I will show you 5 elements that live in perfect harmony with each other. There is no quarrel. There is no crossing over of boundaries. There is nothing but respect for one another. When you go to the beach at night, I want you to look up into the sky. You will see the moon there. You will see the stars. Then you look out and you will see the water. That's 3. Then you will feel the 4. You will feel the wind. 5. You'll be standing on the sand. These are 5 earth elements right now. These are 5 universal earth elements. 5 universal elements right now. That is showing you that we can live in perfect harmony with each other. Here's how. Because standing on the sand, guess what? It's an abundance of it. Can you count the sand? No, you cannot. Even God said that you would be like the sand, like you would be like the numbers of the sand. You understand? Like listen, you cannot count the sand. It's infinite to count the grain of sand. You understand? So watch this. So you go to the beach at night and you look down underneath your feet, you will see sand. Abundance of it. There's an abundance of sand, and yet the sand does not impede upon the water. And you look out into the water and you will see an abundance of water as far as your eyes can see. You will see an abundance of water. Abundance of it. And yet the water does not impede upon the sand. And yet there's an abundance of water and there's an abundance of sand. And you will look up into the sky and you will see the moon. You will say, wow, look at the moon and look how bright it is shining. And all the light that is coming off the moon, yet the moon does not impede upon the stars' shine. Because you can see the stars, and the stars have their own shine. And there's an abundance of stars. There's an abundance of moonlight. There's an abundance of stars. Moonlight doesn't stop the stars from shining. The stars doesn't stop the moonlight from shining. The stars doesn't impede upon the waters from being in abundance. The water doesn't impede upon the stars from being in abundance. The wind, then you feel the wind. And there's an abundance of wind all around you, 360 degrees, you feel wind all around you. There's an abundance of wind coming at you. And yet The wind does not stop you from feeling and seeing the abundance and feeling the abundance of sand. The abundance of wind does not stop you from seeing and feeling the abundance of sand. Feeling and seeing the abundance of sand does not stop you from seeing and feeling the abundance of water. The abundance of water does not stop the abundance of moonlight. The abundance of moonlight does not stop the shine from the abundance of starlight. 5 elements living in perfect harmony with each other, yet none of them cross over each other's boundary, yet everyone lives in harmony with each other, yet there's an abundance of them all. Nature shows us the way. There's an abundance of them all. Nature shows us the way. We can live in a nation amongst each other and have abundance with each other. But they made you live backwards and say there is not enough. There's not enough life on earth. There's not enough for you and me. We must be in competition with each other. Wait a minute, what? We must be in competition with each other. Wait a minute, what? Let me go back to nature and see what nature is doing. Oh, I'll just go to the beach at night and I see 5 elements. I feel 5 elements and there's an abundance of every one of them. And not one of them is impeding upon the other from shining or being in abundance of it. The water is not impeding upon the abundance of sand. Yet there's an abundance of sand and an abundance of water. Go to the beach at night and experience this. You will see and feel 5 perfect elements of nature showing you that we can live in harmony with each other. And the moonlight does not block the stars from shining. There's an abundance of moonlight on the beach at night. And yet the stars still shine bright, just as bright. Not even competing with each other, they have their own shine. Not even this moonlight position. The stars have their own shine. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing you ever see and feel and experience and become one with. So you must become one with it. You can only feel this and see this at night, because that's when you can see the stars. You can do this in the daytime. You can do it with the sun, but then you will not be able to see the moon and you will not be able to see the stars. But I say go at night because it gives you the full effect of the majority of an experience of all of those elements. You will get majority of the elements at night than you will during the day. You get more elements at night than you would during the day. So I say let us build. Let us build what? Let us build to go back to a village way of living. Let's go back to our tribal way of living. Let's go back to our tribal, the way the Indians lived in teepees and getting grounded to the earth bed and getting grounded to the energies inside the earth so that we can raise our level of consciousness to ascend into our higher selves of knowledge. Let's go back to let's go back to living back into let's go back to being in harmony with each other, living in a village, living amongst and building a village, having a village mindset again. Let's have a village mindset again. Let's start to do this again. Let's start to be village mindset people. Because even in the Indian tribes, there were multiple tribes, and yet they respected the space of the tribes. You see, America does not respect the space of other nations. They invade other nations and take their land from them. That's not respect. That's outright robbery and thievery. That's not respect for other nations. This is why a lot of countries hate America, because they feel about the UK, Canada, and America. The whole European mindset thinking. The whole European mindset thinking. This is what they did. They came and pillaged and savaged. They came as savages and pillaged the Indians and Africans. Took their way of life, took their sovereignty. And this is why I say what? September what? 6th coming up. September 6th will be coming upon us. And Saturn is going into retrograde. I know some of you like, oh, you talking astrology, astronomy. I don't do that. Well, you will be the one who are setting the limitation upon your mind. And when the age of Pisces come, you will not be able to take action. Because you're talking about, oh, you're talking astrology. Well, everything is interconnected. Number one, let me explain that to you. Everything is interconnected. So if you don't open your mind to what I'm about to tell you about astrology, then you are limiting yourself while in the age of information for your growth process in the age of Pisces. You're not going to be able to grow in the age of Pisces. You're not going to be able to take action because you're not opening your mind to what I'm about to tell you about astrology. When it comes to astrology, and as I was getting ready to say, September 6th, Saturn goes into retrograde. What does that mean? Some of you who don't even know what retrograde means. It just means that the Earth will be passing by Saturn. This is what it means. The Earth will be passing. We will be passing by Saturn. The Earth will be passing by Saturn. Now, does this mean we will be able to see Saturn? No, it doesn't. What it means is we will come into the energy field. Ooh, this is deep. This is powerful. It means that we will be coming. It's kind of like it would be basically we will become parallel universes. We will become parallel universes for a split moment. I think it's for 180 days. We will become a parallel universe with Saturn. No. Because Saturn comes back into retrograde. Yeah, I think 190, I say 90 or 120 days. So somewhere in that area, Saturn comes back into retrograde. Saturn goes into retrograde 120 every 120 days or 90 days. I may be off, but it's not that far. It goes into retrograde, meaning the Earth will be in a parallel universe with Saturn's energy. You may not see Saturn, but we will be a parallel universe for 190 days with the energy of Saturn. With the energy of Saturn. And this is why, this is where you want to make sure, because Saturn is the planet of what? Justice, karma. Saturn is the planet of karma and justice. And this is where you want to make sure that you forgive yourself of anything you've done wrong to yourself and others. You don't have to go and ask for forgiveness from them. You just need to forgive yourself of the wrongdoing of it. You don't have to say, hey, will you forgive me? Because guess what? They can say no to your forgiveness. Does it mean you're not forgiven? No. You must forgive yourself of the wrongdoing. If you wronged your brother, forgive yourself of that. If you wronged your sister, forgive yourself of that. Forgive yourself. Because Saturn is the planet of judgment. Listen to me. Of justice, discipline, and karma. Justice, discipline, and karma. Meaning discipline like you discipline your child. Some of you about to get your ass whooped come September 6th. But the best way to defeat this, so you don't have to get, you know how your kids beg you not to whoop them? Please don't whoop me, please, please, please. I told my son, I told him for 2 days I was gonna whoop his ass because he was just acting the most. He was doing the most. You understand? He was doing the most. So I was like, mind me to whoop my ass, son. I don't think I forgot. My son probably was he hoping I forget. I ain't forgot, but you know I'm a loving dad. I don't want to chastise my son. I'm a loving dad. I don't want to chastise my son. And you know, I think the threat of whooping his ass straightened him up enough. You feel me? But he was just doing the most. And I was like, remind me to whoop your ass. I told him that for the last 2 days. You know, and he knew swift discipline was coming down, but I didn't do it. I let him straighten himself up. And this is the thing. You can do the same thing. You can straighten yourself up come September 6th. Get yourself out there and meditate and receive the energy from Saturn. When we become a parallel universe with Saturn, get out there and get the energy of Saturn. So that what? So that you are forgiven. Go and meditate on forgiving yourself. Go and meditate so that karma does not come back to you. And discipline does not be handed down to you. Because this is the planet of justice. You will get served justice for your wrongdoing. But you can defeat this by forgiving yourself of all your hang-ups, forgiving yourself of all your debilitations, forgiving yourself of all your, what the other one I usually say, your hindrances. Forgive yourself of your hindrances, your debilitation, your hindrances. Go and forgive yourself of these things. Stop holding on to these things through emotion. Stop holding on to your debilitations through emotion. Let them go. Forgive yourself. Freedom is the absence of emotion. Forgive yourself. Hurry up. September 6th, be meditating. Get that energy from Saturn so you don't get that ass whoop. Okay? Get that energy from Saturn so you don't get your ass whooped, so karma doesn't come back on you. This is why some of you be like, yo, what did I do to deserve this? Well, guess what? Every 120 days, Saturn comes into retrograde. You might have got your ass whooped for something you forgot you did, and you ain't forgive yourself of it. Huh? You ain't forgive yourself of it. So now, understand this. Saturn is also what? Saturn is also the planet of introspection. Ooh, this is about to get deeper than I even wanted it to. Saturn is also the planet of introspection. So watch the beauty of this. Saturn is the energy of this is a loving thing. So even through your meditation, you are going what? You are having an introspecting, and you are having an introspecting moment. You are introspecting. Even in your meditation, you are having an introspection. And through the introspection of meditation, when you're meditating to forgive yourself, you're having an introspection of yourself right there too. So the beauty is this, that Saturn, the energy of Saturn is saying you will be forgiven, because through the introspection of the energy Saturn is giving off, what is happening? What is happening? Enlightenment is happening. You come into, like my son. My son came into an enlightenment. The more I kept threatening to whip his ass, he smartened up. He wisened up. The same thing happens. This is the same thing. My son wisened up. The more I kept threatening to whip his ass, my son wisened himself up. Well, that's what happens when you have an introspection through meditation. When the planets come, when Saturn comes into retrograde, you're going to go into, you ought to be going into meditation, forgiving yourself. Through that meditation, you are having an introspecting moment. Through that introspection comes enlightenment, wisdom. Comes enlightenment and wisdom, knowledge. Knowledge comes through. This is what happens when you get your ass whooped. You wisen up. Some of you need to wisen yourself up. Some of you need an ass whooping to wise up, because in meditation you're going to receive this energy. If you don't align yourself, when the planets come in, when Saturn comes into retrograde and we become a parallel universe with Saturn, if you are not meditating to align yourself with that energy, then guess what? It's gonna hurt when it comes down on you, because you're not getting yourself in the flow of that energy. So it's gonna hurt when it comes down on you, because you're not purposely putting yourself in the flow with that energy. So it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be like an anvil fell on your head. And this is why it's the planet of justice. It's the planet of karma. It's the planet of discipline. It's gonna feel like an anvil came down on your head, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. That junk is gonna hurt you, and it ain't gonna feel good. It's gonna be painful. So you want to be, whatever you do, you pray. Whatever you do, if you pray, you meditate, you need to align yourself with the energy at the moment, September 6th, so that you can receive love and wisdom, knowledge and wisdom. Through the introspection, you will be receiving knowledge and wisdom. Are you understanding this? This is what it means when a planet goes into retrograde. So I say, let us build. Let us build a village mindset again. But I cannot, and we cannot build if someone is still acting on old data. A computer is not going to operate with old data still logged into it. It's, I have an app on my phone, and I have my app for my bank, my bank account. My bank account will not allow me to go on my bank account updates, my app updates for my bank. My app of my bank will not allow me to enter into my bank account until I hit update. When it says update app, I can't even get it. I either have to go to the bank itself or I have to update that app. Some things will not even allow you to enter and get access to until you update. So this is why we are in the age of, this goes back to the age of Aquarius. This is the information age, the age of Aquarius. You need to be updating yourself right now because you're not going to be able to get access to it come the age of Pisces. You're not going to be able to get access to this information come the age of Pisces. They're going to say, update your information. Age of Pisces. It's going to say, have you updated your information? Have you updated your app yet? No. Well, you cannot get access to this. You haven't updated information. You haven't updated the information. You haven't updated the app. So you cannot get this. Believe that. Believe that. So we must go into nation building again. We must go into village mindset again. And to do this, we must update our information. Let me repeat what I said earlier. If you do not update your information in the age of Aquarius while it's free, while the information is free, you got Google, you got Yahoo, you got Bing, you got YouTube, you got all these free social media and media outlets to get the information while it's free. But if you do not update your information, if you do not open your mind to receive the information as it come in, come the age of Pisces, you have limited yourself because you're operating on old data, and therefore they will not allow you to gain access. Like my bank account will not allow me to gain access to my app inside my app until I've updated the app. It says you cannot get access to this money until you update this app. I'm like, ain't that son of a, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Sometimes I have to get in my car and drive because my phone is too slow sometimes, which I'm updating that. We'll be updating my phone soon to do that through my app. And I'm in a situation where I can't get to a bank, but I need to do it right now. And my phone is acting slow. I can't get access to my own money because I got to update the information of my app. You will not get access to higher consciousness if you do not update your information right now today in the age of Aquarius while it's free. And so to go to a village mindset, you cannot be of old data. You cannot be of old information. You must update to gain access to the higher consciousness. You must update yourself to gain access to the higher consciousness. You must. You must do this. You must do this. And I am telling you right now, if you do not do this, you will be left. You will be left. Are you understanding? Are you getting this? Is this resonating? Is it resonating? Okay, so I want to say to you, because I want to make my point. I'm sorry, I stopped. I paused for a moment because I was reading. I want to make my point. I was reading somebody who sent me something. So I want to make my point, and we're gonna get through this. I promise you, we're gonna get through it. It's not alone. It's not alone. Not much after this. It's not much right now. We're in the end. We're in the conclusion phase of this. But I must make this point. We must go back to what? We must go back to the way of nature. We must go back to the way of nature. We must go back to nature, that's mentally, and we must go back to live within nature physically. I went and got me a tent so I can live close to the earth bed so that the earth can supercharge me up. So it can supercharge me up. I'm being supercharged when I lay on the earth floor. All right? So connect back to earth energies. How do you do that? There's more than one way to do that. You don't have to just go get a tent and lay on the earth floor. You can do that through the beach. Simply going to the beach and getting connected into go submerge yourself in the ocean. Go to the beach and submerge yourself in the water. Submerge yourself in that body of life out there called water. Submerge yourself in that body of life. You can do it another way. Go out there and sunbathe. Get in the sun. This is how you go out there and get into the sun. Sit in the sun for a long time. Sit in the sun. You can do this other way. Go in the woods, in the nature, enhancing your hearing, your spiritual ear. Enhancing your spiritual ear. You can ground back to the earth by doing many ways. You don't have to go get a tent and lay on the earth bed. You could go to the beach and get in the water. You can sit out in the sun and receive light. You can also go into the woods and receive sound, vibration. It's all vibration. It's all vibration. And you can receive vibration by sitting in the woods, listening to sound of nature in the woods. And that's vibration, sound hitting your ear bone, your eardrum, the bone. Vibrating itself through your body. This is what sound does. It gets into the ear canal, hits the bone, into the ear, in the ear, and it hits the skull. The bone hits the skull bone, and from hitting skull bone, kind of like when you yell inside of a cave, it echoes. Well, it echoes throughout the whole body. You yell into a cave, your voice vibrates off the walls. It bounces off the walls. That's vibration. Dolphins talk through vibration, sonar communication. Dolphins talk through vibration called sonar communication. That's vibrations. When you yell into a cave, hello, hello, hello. That echo, that's a vibration bouncing off the walls. Well, when you go and tune yourself into the sounds of nature, sitting in the woods for a while, you are tuning yourself into the sound of nature, and that sound is hitting the bone, the skull bone. And the skull bone creates a ricochet. It creates an echo effect throughout the whole body. It creates an echo effect of vibrations through the body, the whole bone system, throughout the whole bone system. And so the hearing is vibrating throughout all of your being, every bone in your body, literally. So you can get in tune with the sounds of nature that way and become one with nature, getting within nature. Now let's end this off right here and say this. Let us build, but let us be of the mindset of going back to nature through the mind, that's the mind, and going back within nature, and that's through the physical, submerging ourselves in these things. Sunlight, sitting in the woods, laying in a tent, submerging yourself in water. These things are good for you. Let us go back to this way. Eating from the earth, eating from the trees, eating from life itself. Everybody cannot be a part of your village either, because the mindset is still hung up on debilitations, hindrances, and hang-ups. So everybody ain't going to be able to become a part of your nation. It's just not. I'm drinking my coconut water right now, straight out of the coconut. I enjoy drinking water from a coconut. You know what I mean? Because I don't drink tap water, or I don't drink bottled water. I drink water from the coconut. I'm not sick, haven't been dehydrated, haven't had any problems with my body, my health. I feel better. My skin looks better. My eyes feel better, look better. Everything is better because I returned to the natural way of living. That's why my bio on my Facebook page is natural man. I'm a natural man. It says sovereignty. You must regain your sovereignty by going back to the natural way of life. You bought into a facade, a way they told you this is how life is. When really everything that they're telling you is a dumbed down version and a diluted assimilation of nature. Everything they give you is they get from nature. Everything they do is an assimilation of nature. And the reason why it's an assimilation because it means that it's fake. It's a facade. It's an assimilation. It's been put together. It didn't come together naturally. It came together through building man. It didn't come together naturally. Let me say that again. It didn't come together from a natural resource, but a man-made resource. Now man takes nature and add chemicals to it, and that's what makes it unnatural. Man takes nature and add chemicals to it, making it unnatural. Because everything that we have on the earth right now, everything that we have, from the shirt you're wearing, from the straw that I'm sipping from, which is a carbon, which is a carbon straw anyway, so I ain't worried about it. Which is non-plastic, made from the earth, corn, made from corn, huh? Everything, that's why I say if you're gonna drink out of plastic, make sure it's corn, made out of corn. There's recyclable corn, cups and stuff that they're making cups out of corn now. But everything that I do, I return back to the natural way of doing it. Man has taken nature and made together something that is not natural. And they tell you this is natural and they tell you this is right. But everything on earth, from the chair that I sit in, from the table that I sit at, from the shoes that I have on, is all the material is made from the earth. Where did aliens didn't just drop it off here. Every piece of material, everything you have that you can see, you set your eyes on, all the material came from earth. The problem with some of the material is that it gets tampered with, bypassing through it. And so it loses its natural vibration. It loses its natural vibration and properties. It loses its natural vibration and property. And so it doesn't vibrate anymore. It doesn't vibrate anymore. You understand? So everything we have in our immediate possession, all the material from that came from the earth. It's an assimilation, though. The assimilation is man took it and did things to it to assimilate it, to make it look like nature, but it's not. It's not the real thing. So let's go back to the natural way. Let us go back to a natural way so we can become natural beings once again. Let us go back to a natural way so we can become natural beings once again. This is what it means to be a natural man, a natural woman. This is what it means to be a natural man, a natural woman. We must build. We must build. I'm telling you right now, as the planet, as Saturn, I gotta say this. I gotta say this before I get off. Before I get off. Saturn, September 6th. Saturn is retrograde. That means the planet's Earth will be passing by Saturn. I said this before, but I got to explain this again. That means Earth will be passing by Saturn. Does it mean you can see Saturn in the sky? No, it doesn't. But it means that Saturn and the Earth will become parallel universes. That means the energy of Saturn will become a part of our Earth energy. Now think about Saturn. It's bigger in mass and size than the Earth. Think about the mass energy coming off of Saturn that will be coming into our universe, into our planet. Think about the mass dose of energy that would be sweeping over this planet. Think about the size of Saturn compared to Earth. Now, think about if Earth has its own set of energies, think about the energy Saturn has. And is ready to get off. And it will stay in retrograde. And it will be in retrograde, and it will come back with 100. It will stay in retrograde for 120 days, and we will pass it by somewhere in January again. But it will become a parallel universe. September 6th. You need to make sure you are out there meditating on this energy, receiving, opening your mind to receive. You need to become like an open, container. Let that stuff just pour into you. The mass energy of Saturn. Saturn is a big planet, bigger than Earth. Bigger than Earth. Way bigger than Earth. Now think about the sweeping energy that would become parallel with this planet. This is the age of information. You need to be receiving, opening your mind to receive the information while it's free right now. Because the age of Pisces will come upon us. And in the age of Pisces, it's about action. And you will not be able to access the free information as you can now in the age of Pisces. And when the age of action comes upon us, the age of Pisces, when the age of Pisces come upon us, you will not be able to ascend past the limitations you set on yourself right now. The limitations you set on yourself right now will become a debilitation in the age of Pisces all the way until the age of Taurus come around. Or Aries. Huh? All the way until the age of Aries come around. You will be stuck in a debilitated state of mind, consciousness, all the way until the age of Aries. And we're not talking about, when April come, March, April. We're not talking about like that. No, we're talking about years of being in the age of Aquarius. And then years of being in the age of Pisces. And then years of being in the age of Aries. Now, in the age of Aries, it represents Aries represents Aries is the air sign. Aries is the air sign. So in the age of Aries, another enlightenment time will be coming upon us. Another enlightenment time will be coming upon us. This is why I'm enlightened right now, because I've took advantage of the age of information, the age of Aquarius. Come around after the age of Pisces, the air sign, it will be a time of enlightenment to elevate yourself once again. But you must be willing to do what? Receive right now. So that in the time of action, in the age of Pisces, in the age of Aries come around, you good. You good. You good. There's no work to be done. You good. Oh my. That coconut is so good. That coconut is so good. Like I told you before, I receive my water from fruit. I don't drink bottled water no more. I stopped drinking bottled water over a month and a half ago. I don't drink tap water no more. I stopped drinking tap water a long time ago. My water I get from when I eat melons. I eat melons. My melons have water. Cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, and my coconut. Okay? I get all the water I need right there. Because that's called life. That's called life. They tell you, oh, there's a shortage of water. Huh? There's a shortage of water on the planet that's all life. Everything that's life. Everything about this planet is life. There's a shortage of. I'm repeating myself. So I don't want to repeat myself no more. But let's get this download. Repeat it. Listen to it again. Hit replay. Rewind it. Share it. Do whatever you need to do with the download. But get this. Get this. Let's build. Let us build. Let us be village minded. Give your emotions. Stop allowing your emotions to keep you in the lower self consciousness. Go back and listen to yesterday's download where I talked about are you disease free? That was about you may have good you may have went to the doctor and say your blood is good, your blood work is good, you came back negative, but you're still positive. You still positive with a disease. Your mind is sick. Your mind is sick because you're hung up on your emotions. Your emotions get in the way, and freedom is the absence of emotions. All right, shut it down low. I appreciate you being in the building with me. Listen, I love you. This is the Enlightened Messenger. I'm out.